Hello, my name is Trudy Leong, and Bill Morton and I are hosts of Community Unity Now, the D-Tycoon Show. Bill is not here today. We rotate the hosting duties, so Bill will be with you next Tuesday. Our guest today is Gregory Sherman JR of ECCSC for Community and Social Change. And welcome, Gregory. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Happy Friday, Trudy, and thank you for the invite.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us. So first of all, Gregory, what is going on new? I see that you have a lot of videos of your actions in Rogers Park with the ECCSC for Community and Social Change. First of all, tell our viewers a little bit about what the organization is about and what you have been doing recently in Rogers Park, and when did you start the actions in Rogers Park?
Well, thanks, Trudy. As you said, ECCSC is ECCSC for Community and Social Change. I am the director of outreach and community engagement, and our mission is to reach the people. Our mission, our hashtag is going to take us to save us. As we see the climate of Black America, we realize that we can no longer wait on politicians. We can no longer wait on pastors. We can no longer wait on anyone to come in and save us. We must stand in front of it and do community service for ourselves, demand social and economic equality for ourselves. And as it pertains to Rogers Park, I am a lifelong resident of this north side. I don't really like to use Rogers Park, Uptown, Edgewater, Andersonville, or now Westridge, because those who know, like me, those who have been on this north side know it's only one north side. And so as it pertains to Rogers Park, we did a protest, and we yelled and we screamed and demanded that they put the basketball courts back for those children to have a space to dream. With collaboration with Willie White Park District and Alderman Haddon, who actually purchased 4 of the basketball rims for the community, we were able to throw a big Correct the Courts block party. It was very successful. And also, I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen us riding around the north side passing out food. I'd like to give a quick shout out to an organization, Fight to Feed. They've collaborated.
Fight to Feed. Mm-hmm.
They've collaborated with ECCSC and ECCSC North to ensure that we can at least fill the void of food insecurity in our neighborhoods that need it most.
Mm-hmm. So if our residents want to access the food, how would they find it? What days are you out there, and how could they find information about when you will be out there?
I can, my phone number, and I'll give you my email, or they can go to the website, which is ECCSC.org or onenorthside.org. My personal email is gsherman@onenorthside.org and gsherman@ECCSC.org.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And yes,
I would love to give you my phone number because we are a 24-hour call. If you need some food, we will do our best to make sure your household does not go to sleep hungry. My phone number is 312-838-2979. 312-838-2979.
Mm-hmm. Do you do any de-escalation efforts in the neighborhoods?
That's number one, Trudy. We've just been blessed with the collaboration to be able to feed people. Mm-hmm. But our number one objective is to stop gang violence. We are in front of all of the little homies, all of the quote unquote bangers, or whatever derogatory name that people choose to call these children who are disinvested in, who have not been given resources to succeed. Those are our main targets to deal with every day. So every day is about mentorship, de-escalation, and training them and teaching them where the fight truly is, and it's not with each other.
So when you go out and meet these youth, what programs do you offer them, and how involved do they become in your programs? What kind of programs are there?
There's a plethora of programs. I mean, we meet them where they're at, and if they need to get in school, we can help them get in school. Mm-hmm. If they need legal assistance, we have that. If they need food assistance, we have that. If they just need a big homie or a big brother, we have that. But as far as programming, we do mental health, trauma-informed care. We do recidivism, re-entry, violence prevention, peer mentorship, and also, lastly, financial literacy.
Financial literacy is very important. So how receptive are they in the financial literacy? How do you start? Because do you help them gain some employment, and then guide them on how to best save their earnings, and then apply their earnings to better their living situation and help their families?
Absolutely, Trudy. It's important, and we have to ask ourselves, why these schools aren't teaching our children such an important lesson in life, credit, and being able to save some of your hard-earned money so that you don't have to be stuck in the same problematic poverty situations that so many of our neighborhoods suffer from. So absolutely. But we can't keep, I will say ECCSC in particular, we are not interested in waiting either. These meager resources that the government and this city particularly offer our children, we recognize that it's not enough. We are a people who have been through a lot. We are a people who need a lot. And so we are demanding that this government look at us as endangered, because we can't.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
In case I'm not. It's the same plights, the same problematic issues that we've had for 30 years. And so it's easy fixes in our mindsets when we look at an industry like the cannabis industry, and we look at entities like police, right? You can't keep giving the police a $2 million budget, but you're not at least willing to put $100 million into prevention, right? You can't keep putting billions and billions, millions. Make sure that's $2 billion. You can't keep putting billions in corrections, but not at least millions in prevention. And as far as the cannabis industry, you still have, for cannabis, you have black and brown families that have been devastated for marijuana charges. Not only did they take the head of the household away, they took personal belongings, and they put a felony on your background that has prevented many of us from ever doing anything, as you said, with financial literacy. Mm-hmm. So we recognize that just saying that, oh, I'll expunge it or I'll take it off your record isn't enough. And so we are demanding that they do a full moratorium. And well, you'll see, starting Monday, we're doing a 7-day protest in front of Curaleaf on Weed Street, the biggest dispensary here in Chicago. ECCSC will be shutting them down for 7 days. It's going to take us to save us. And they promised, when they passed legislation for legalization of marijuana, that 30% tax would go directly into the neighborhoods most affected by the war on drugs. They promised that our neighborhoods would see benefit from this industry. Well, it's particularly in Rogers Park and every place around this city, we haven't seen it. There's a dispensary on Rogers, there's one on Clark, and there's one in Skokie, and all of the black neighborhoods and brown neighborhoods are just as bad off as they were prior to the dispensaries coming into the neighborhood.
Right.
So we are a difference.
So the money actually hasn't gone. Not 1 cent has gone to the communities. Were you able to find out who actually controls levies the taxes and then is responsible for applying those the tax monies to the communities? Who's controlling it? Were you able to find out?
Well, I'd like to mention a few people. I'd like to mention State Rep LaShawn Ford. I'd like to mention State Rep Kelly Cassidy. And I'd like to mention Senator Mike Simmons. We're going to let them handle the legislation part of it. And we showing up at the front door demanding information starting Monday. You will see us organizing protests all throughout this summer. We will be shutting down these dispensaries. It's unfair that we have a system and in a city that would see the black and brown plight and continuously try to profit off of it.
Exactly.
And so as a black man, as an ex-con in this country, we will no longer sit back idle and let this country treat us this way.
What have the state politicians told you about where that money has gone and where it is now?
Well, I'm not sure if it's went anywhere yet. That is for J.B. Pritzker to answer up to. That is for Mayor Lightfoot to answer to. And we'll get to the bottom of the answers. Have me on in a month or so. And if I have the answers, truly, I surely will share them with you.
Thank you.
So, what we do know is the dispensaries got an abundance of money, right? Mm-hmm. And we do know that we've spoken to the alderpersons in our neighborhoods who have assured us that they have not yet gotten the money. Mm-hmm. And so from a local level where we are, we're going to get answers quickly.
Mm-hmm. And when they gave their promises, do you have any idea when the dispensaries promised that they would be, they accepted those, they would accept those taxes? Do you know where those taxes are levied from? Any idea about whether it's the local level, the state level, or the federal? Any idea at all?
This entire new wave industry is tragic. It is blatant racism. It is blatant America tactics. As I said, black and brown people are still incarcerated for marijuana.
Right.
There's not one black owner of a dispensary in Illinois of marijuana places. And so where is this supposed to go? It can't. That's why they agreed to have the extra tax. And as Joe Biden, as the president, has said more than once now, this country has to tell the truth. This country must look at its transgressions against black people and be okay with saying we made a mistake. But let's rectify the situation. Currently, during this cannabis industry, no one's trying to rectify the situation. We're locked out, left out, mm-hmm. and it's so tragic to a people who need it most. Look at this city, Trudy. We have taxes, we have toll roads, we have red light cameras, we have casinos, we have all these money generating avenues for the city, but yet the inner city schools are still competing for money. They still have to fundraise to get computers. They still have to beg for new wave stuff. You see this logo behind me. It's a $180 billion industry. We're begging for inclusion, truly, in every way. This city must do better by black people and people of color throughout. or we plan to be a problem to be reckoned with.
When you asked which politicians, elected officials have you spoken with about why the cannabis industry is not including people of color, the brown and black communities, and when you asked them, who did you ask, and how do they respond when you ask why isn't the cannabis industry including you?
I don't mention them just because I haven't asked for permission, but I will say, other than the aforementioned elected officials, we've spoken to 20 or so aldermen from Evanston all the way to maybe 30. We have mayors all of South Suburbia, Illinois, all of Dalton. All of those places, everyone recognizes this tragedy.
Right.
But also everyone points the finger right back to J.B. Pritzker. We believe that this is one of his running points, was to ensure that his people got richer. And so we're demanding that he do more. And we're expecting that it's coming real fast.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the answer is and Lightfoot. Those are the answers. They're the shot callers. They decide where the money is allocated. And so we want answers. And everyone who's been harassed, beaten, mistreated, denied a job for marijuana, we expect that you guys show up at Curaleaf on Weed Street Monday morning for this 7-day protest. Some people, I've even heard some people doing hunger strikes. So we have to stand together and fight the tragedies of this country.
Mm-hmm. So I assume that you have approached the ECCSC has approached Mayor Lightfoot and Governor Pritzker, so they haven't responded when the organization asked them if they could help. Any statement from them?
Responded, and we do reach out often, and we have not heard a response from them yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so there is no indication of any progress. It's just you just have to protest, and no indications from anyone that there is any progress. Is what you're saying?
Yes, they've changed. As I say, if you follow LaShawn Ford, state rep, he's out in front. It's from a legislation standpoint. Mm-hmm. And they've made some lead way. ECC and ex-cons in particular, and our organization is saying we're tired of that garbage talk. Mm-hmm. They always lose us in legislation. They always bury us in paperwork. And so enough is enough. If we don't eat, won't nobody eat. So they can just shut it down until they include us. Mm-hmm. And that is where we will be in front of Curaleaf on Weed Street starting Monday morning.
Mm-hmm. And when you... yes, go ahead. When you do Yes, when you do your outreach to the youth, do you explain this aspect of your work, and how do they respond? Do they understand what you are doing? Do any of the youth offer to become boots on the ground with ECCSC?
Yes, absolutely. Our support from our community is overwhelming. We are the big homies, and we are the big homies as influential members in these same pockets of poverty. We made it out, and they recognize that we are fighting for them, and they recognize we are fighting for social and economic equality for them. And so these youth are even smart enough to know, especially when we break it down to them about their dad not being in their life because this country locked them up for weed. And now this country won't even allow his dad to get a good job. So many jobs that he is locked out of due to felonies from this country's war on drugs, which was code word for war on black people. And so these children are welcoming us with open arms in every community, not just Rogers Park, Uptown, Edgewater, Andersonville, West Side, Inglewood, Austin area, East Garfield area, all the places that most people scared to deal with. We are becoming their friends. We are becoming their family. And so we put all elected officials, or you'll hear from us.
Mm-hmm. And when you do the outreach and help them with teach them financial literacy, do you have any success stories to share? After they learn financial literacy, are they able to, do you help them find a job? And then I know that you're not able to help everybody, but do you have any stories about some of the youth that you have been able to help? After they learn financial literacy, and how do their lives change?
Yeah, well, I don't know if that was so. As you know, Trudy, we are a new organization. We haven't received any funding from the state level. So at this point, and I stand before you as success story. Our executive directors and our team members, Mr. Tyrone Muhammad, Mr. Ralph Edwards, myself, and the other handful of gentlemen who have stepped up and stood up. We are the first success stories. Tyrone Muhammad did over 20 years in prison. I've done over 14 years in prison. Something similar in numbers. And so we stand before you, the success story, the change that we want to see. We stand before you, clear example of what some prayer, some hard work, and some fellowshipping along amongst the community can do. We are all entrepreneurs. We are all good fathers. We are all leaders of our households. And so that in itself is our testimony. And that is why our hashtag is going to take us to save us.
Well, so yes, that's why I wanted to ask you as well, because I know of a lot of nonprofits. They actually have to open their own pockets to fund the organization. So I see that you do have vehicles with your logo on it, and then you're able to travel around and then let the neighborhood know that you're out there, that you're organized, and that you're there to help. So is it your own money that is being spent to buy those vehicles and any equipment that you're using? Is it just from donations?
Hold on, I'm having a baby on the way, and I'm getting a lot of calls. Let me just make sure my baby's not coming.
Okay.
Hey, I just had my brother call my wife because I got a baby due any day now, and my daughter just called. She just called twice, so I just got to make sure the baby's not. What was the question?
Yes.
As far as the money,
yes.
I come from private donors. Our money, we've gotten some money from some private dispensaries who recognize the disparity, and they have tried to help our plight. What is it? What's wrong? Tell her I'm on the interview. All right, I'm good. I'm sorry, as I said, the baby on the way is good.
Yes.
Nice. But yeah, so our money so far has come from private donors. Okay. The city has yet to get one.
Awesome. Okay, yes, because you mentioned that there aren't any grants, and then I see that you are organized. So, congratulations to you for gaining so many organizations to help.
Yeah. So the truth is, truly, the truth sounds familiar. When you hear something that feels good, you should support it. Mm-hmm. And as we go through these neighborhoods and talk to our elders, we get a lot of support. $5 from 1,000 people go a long way. And so we ask that our community continues to support us because the stuff that this country hides, and the stuff that this city hides, and the stuff that they do to our people is long overdue. Time for it's just a new revolution, a new state of mind, a new right to passage. We are tired of begging for meager resources.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much, Gregory Sherman Jr. and of ECCSC for Community and Social Change. Gregory, could you give our viewers your contact information again, the websites, the two websites?
Yeah. Find us at www.ECCSC.org. And then here on the north side as well, we have onenorthside.org.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insight on the situation and of the community and lack of resources dedicated to them, and also sharing your work for the community. This is Community Unity Now, and my name is Trudy Leong, and it's also the D Tycoon Show, and you could reach Reverend Catherine Brown D Tycoon at 312-519-7922. Again, 312-519-7922 for Reverend Catherine Brown D Tycoon. This has been Community Unity Now. My name is Trudy Leong, and next week, Bill Morton will be joining you. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us, and have a great night.